Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we're kicking off a new mini-series on the channel, focusing in on the relationship between Lion El'Jonson and the angel Sanguinius, their opinions of each other, and how it evolved throughout the heresy. And where better to begin than their reunion within the heresy with Guilliman's Imperium Secundus. A spoiler warning to begin, as the events we're discussing today are from the Horus Heresy novel The Unremembered Empire by author Dan Abnett. As always, I really recommend you read the stories for yourself first, without spoilers, as that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. But with that said, let's waste no time and just jump straight in. Okay, now the personalities of Lion El'Jonson and Sanguinius couldn't be more different. Despite their physical similarities, both with their fair skin and long flowing blonde hair, Sanguinius is a warmth of personality. Welcoming, loving, highly regarded and loved by most of his brothers, whereas El'Jonson is a closed book, a secret hoarder, unknown by even his kin, his youth on Caliban forcing him to be the eternal hunter, a man who makes even fellow Primarchs uneasy in his company. And so you may expect these two Primarchs to be chalk and cheese, to have a frosty relationship, if any at all. And yet the Lion displayed an outpouring of emotion regarding Sanguinius when he was confronted by Chapter Master Dante wearing his face some 10,000 years later. So obviously, there was indeed a great love and respect there. And I wanted to discuss what we could see of that throughout this week. And it all begins with Sanguinius' arrival to Ultramar in the depths of the heresy. As we know, Lion El'Jonson set course for Ultramar after his Framas crusade against the Night Lord's Legion, to check on Rabute, fearing he may in some manner be attempting to capitalise upon the carnage of the heresy. That far from remaining loyal, he was attempting to build his own empire. And though Guilliman was in fact loyal, his dream of Imperium Secundus, forging a new empire until the fate of Terra and their father could be discovered, left El'Jonson with more than his fair share of doubts. And so the two clashed, coming close to blows on several occasions, despite working together against their traitor brother Conrad. Fundamentally, the two simply couldn't completely trust each other's motives. And it was into this uneasy alliance of cooperation that Sanguinius arrived with his legion. Sanguinius, Primarch of the 9th Legion Blood Angels, entered the audience hall, trailing an honour guard of his finest warriors, clad in their bright crimson war gear. He was always a breathtaking figure, dressed in golden armour and a mantle of spotted Carnodon fur. His face, so noble of feature, was framed by a radiant sunburst. His great wings, of course, made him more like an angel than anything else. Guilliman stepped forward to meet him, and they embraced. Then Sanguinius turned to the Lion and embraced him too. "Whence come you, brother?" Guilliman asked. "From Cygnus Prime," Sanguinius replied. His voice was, as ever, like music, but Guilliman could sense pain deep within it. "From a bloody fight and a hard betrayal. I fear that my fleet has been adrift in the warp for a long time since, and only your strange light has shown us the way out." "What strength are you?" asked the Lion. To all sensible purposes, My entire legion, Sanguinius replied. And what befell you on Cygnus Prime? Asked Guilliman. Sanguinius seemed reluctant to reply. We faced down an enemy the like of which we have never known, he replied. It cost us. It is now my dearest intention to make best speed for Terra and stand alongside our father against the treachery of Horus Lupercal. Return to Terra at this time is not viable, said Guilliman. I am sorry to say that the ruin storm chokes all travel out. We too wish to stand with Terra, if Terra still stands, the Lion said, including both himself and Guilliman in the remark. For now, we must abide here and build other strengths. In what particular? Asked Sanguinius. I want Rabute to tell you about his efforts to keep the very essence and spirit of the Imperium alive, the Lion said. I want him to tell you about Imperium Secundus. So it's not the most remarkable of reunions, but we have to remember the time and place here. This is early in the heresy, a time when all the Primarchs are in truth still struggling to come to terms with it all, with the hows and whys. I mean, the galaxy is literally shrouded in the ruin storm at this point, cutting them off from the answers they so desperately want, the answers they need. So it's understandable why a party isn't joyously being thrown here. However, even considering that, we do get the line. Guilliman stepped forward to meet him, and they embraced. Then Sanguinius turned to the Lion and embraced him too. Now, although this is Sanguinius hugging the Lion, you can rest assured if the Lion didn't want that, it would not be happening. And so, considering his renowned aloofness, his distance from his brothers, it clearly speaks a lot that he wanted or was willing to hug the angel. And vice versa, that Sanguinius felt comfortable to hug El'Jonson in greeting. That might not sound like much in a greeting between brothers, but this is Lion El'Jonson we're talking about here. I can't think of many, if any, brothers that would try to hug him. And so yes, it's a small thing, a brief moment, but it's a moment that absolutely should not be overlooked, and actually tells us quite a bit about their relationship. We can actually compare it to an earlier situation in the Lion's own arrival to Ultramar, his greeting of Rabute. It's a grand affair, a very stoic and formal one, but then El'Jonson embraces Guilliman, and it's so unexpected and out of character, it knocks Guilliman's warhelm out of his hands to the floor. And of course we know El'Jonson is truly there, in judgment of Guilliman at that point. So it's all entirely fake. And it feels that way too. It feels so over the top, unnatural. And that's because, of course, for the Lion, it is. Yet with that admittedly brief reunion with Sanguinius, it felt completely normal, not out of character or awkward in the slightest. And we see another small glint of their relationship, their trust, in the brothers' conversation regarding Rabute's Imperium Secundus, as Sanguinius appears to put a great deal of trust in El'Jonson's opinion. Rabute has made this argument to me at length, said the Lion, and though I have been troubled by some of its details, I find myself seeing the value of it more and more. How so? Asked the Angelic Lord. The Lion sat back, his hands flat upon the edge of the table. The events of last night alone, he said in a quiet tone, have made me value life and kinship more than ever. We have lost another brother, and Macragge, great heartstone of the 500 worlds, was almost brought low by the deeds and machinations of just one demented traitor. I have witnessed the venom of our enemy, and I have seen the sad fragility of those assets and lives that remain to us. Roboute and I do not think alike on many subjects. We disagree, but we also stand together, loyal. We fight for the Imperium, and this is all of the Imperium that we have. But Regent, Sanguinius said, that smacks of usurpation. It smacks of necessity, replied Guilliman. If Terra and our father have gone, then so has Malcador. We must rally our shattered strength before it is too late. Neither the Lion nor I can stomach the other assuming the role, but we are unanimous when the choice is you. You always were the most like our father, said the Lion. Sanguinius looked up at the light of the storm spilling through the chamber's high window. Let me say, brother, said Guilliman, you showed no great delight in being delivered from the storm and reunited with us. You seem troubled and burdened. That tear marked beneath your eye, is that a new notation of your anguish? We have all seen troubles, said Sanguinius. Brothers fight and fall, and the stars die. Demons walk abroad. I fear that old night steals in upon us anew. I would rage against that. Then make your stand here, for now, said Guilliman. He stood up. Take this oath of moment, and I will make a pledge. The first moment the storm abates, the first moment we see the light of Terra, or hear word that she still stands, I will light my ship drives, and, with all measure of my forces, guide your legion back to the homeworld. There will be no delay or argument. We do not build a second empire here. We maintain the original, founded anew on this globe as circumstance demands. You would make this pledge to me? Asked Sanguinius. With all solemnity, Guilliman replied. And you will back this? Sanguinius asked the Lion. With my blood, the Lion replied. Again, the details are small, but they are clear to see. Sanguinius, clearly troubled by the idea of this Imperium Secundus, clearly values El'Jonson's opinion. Roboute has made the argument to me at length, said the Lion, and though I have been troubled by some of its details, I find myself seeing the value of it more and more. How so? Asked the Angelic Lord. And then we have El'Jonson completely willing to have Sanguinius as his emperor. A fault he could never harbour or bear with Roboute. However, with the Angel, it's something he freely accepted. And so that unveils a beyond huge amount of love and respect for his brother. Keep in mind, El'Jonson wasn't even happy to have Horus as War Master, let alone name a brother as Emperor. So this here is truly profound. And finally, it's El'Jonson's seal of approval that's the final requirement to get Sanguinius on board, to agree to assume the mantle of Emperor, despite his misgivings about it. And you will back this? Sanguinius asked the Lion. With my blood, the Lion replied. That's not just a promise from the Lion, that's a commitment to his brother. I will support you with my blood. And so throughout all of this reunion and encounter upon Macragge, we're able to see a definite sign of respect amongst Sanguinius and Lion El'Jonson. The fact the angel felt comfortable embracing his brother, who was renowned for his secretive distance, who made other Primarchs uneasy, and the fact El'Jonson too was comfortable in that moment. That there was no mention of his stoicism, uncomfortableness, or reluctance. And then that El'Jonson's opinion appears to hold so high regard within the angel's mind and heart, that clearly Sanguinius respects the Lion as a Primarch, and as a commander, and as a brother. That if El'Jonson sees value in Rebute's idea, then it must be worth consideration. And that is a respect hard to find. Was their relationship all sunshine and rainbows from this point? Absolutely not, and we'll discuss that next time around. However, here, at the beginning, we get a great idea of the relationship between the two brothers, founded upon respect at its very core. And as always everyone, what do you think? Do you think this reunion between the Angel and Lion gives away the small telltale signs of mutual respect? That the Angel was comfortable enough to hug El'Jonson in greeting, despite his reputation, and that the Lion allowed it? Does Sanguinius appear to place great faith in El'Jonson's opinion, as I feel it shows? And is the Lion asking Sanguinius to be Emperor the ultimate show of respect? Especially given how furiously loyal he was to their father. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too? But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.